I'm not desperate to be president of Nigeria. I'm not one of those desperate politicians. Even when I contested for the first time to be governor, even in my re-election, it will shock you that during my re-election, people will say, "Sir, now that you're in office, go and ask the 30 member of House that impeached me." We sat down and they said, "If you give us this, we will stop the impeachment in front of everybody." And I can call notable names and there. And I said, "I'm not going to give it to you. I'd rather go. My name is Peter Obi. My name is not Governor of Anambra State. I'm not desperate to be president of Nigeria. I'm desperate to see Nigeria that works for the youths. We have so much talent and energy here that can change the world. And I want to do that. That's all. It is not about, I want to see a Nigeria where that can generate 30, 40, 50,000 megawatts of electricity. We can't be in a country where, giant of Africa, for years we cannot generate more than 4,000 megawatts of electricity. Number 2 country in Africa, South Africa, with 60 million people, is generating 54,000. I want to remove Nigeria from consumption to production. This is a country that cannot feed itself with 926,000 square kilometers of land. It cannot feed itself. It cannot happen. I went around the entire country. When you fly anywhere in the world, as you're landing, what you see is farmland. What you see in Nigeria is bare land.
Bare land?
Nothing. I was in Taraba. I was in Taraba. You get the Mambila Hills, where you can produce all the flowers.
You also have in Taraba.
You can produce coffee. You can produce tea. The minimum wage today needs to increase. But let me tell you the first we need to increase. It is low because the productivity is low. So the first thing I'll do, I said it before, is to remove sharing formula and add to it production formula. Then we have to have minimum production. And then we'll talk about minimum wage. I'm not desperate to be president of Nigeria. I'm not one of those desperate politicians.
As you all saw in the interview he was granted, Peter Obi is not that desperate for power. What he wants is a working country in Nigeria that works for everybody. First, it is worth noting that Peter Obi has repeatedly said in public speeches and interviews that this interest, which is his, is in contributing to Nigeria's development. Whether people agree with him or not, his public message has generally focused on governance, accountability, education, healthcare, and economic reforms rather than simply occupying public office. Secondly, many people point to his political style. Unlike some politicians who make highly confrontational statements or emphasize personalities, Peter Obi has often framed his campaign around policy proposals and governance issues. Supporters see this as evidence that he wants attention focused on ideas rather than on himself. Critics may disagree with aspects of his policies, but this observation is often part of the public discussion. Another reason some people say he is not desperate is his willingness to continue participating in public debates and civic engagement even outside election periods. He has continued attending conferences, speaking with students, business groups, religious organizations, and professional associations. Supporters argue this suggests he intends to remain active in national conversations regardless of whether an election is imminent or not. Some also point to his public reaction after previous elections. Instead of encouraging unlawful actions, he pursued legal channels by challenging the results in court. While options differ on the outcome of those cases, using established legal processes rather than encouraging violence is viewed by many as part of Nigeria's democratic system. Another point frequently raised is his emphasis on institutions. Peter Obi has often argued that stronger institutions are more important than individual leaders. Supporters interpret this as a sign that he wants lasting reforms rather than relying solely on one person's leadership. Whether or not one agrees with that perspective, it has been a recurring theme in his public speeches. His supporters also believe that his lifestyle contributes to the perception that he is not driven mainly by the privileges of office. They often cite examples of his relatively modest public image and his statements about reducing the cost of governance. These are among the reasons many supporters admire him, though critics sometimes question whether symbolism alone is enough without measurable policy outcomes. At the same time, it is important to recognize that different Nigerians view Peter Obi differently. His supporters believe he represents accountability, fiscal discipline, and reform. His critics argue that they have concerns about some of his policies, political decisions, or leadership record. In a democracy, these differing viewpoints are normal, and voters ultimately decide based on the information available to them. Whether Peter Obi eventually becomes president will depend on many factors, including political alliances, campaign strategies, voter turnout, the performance of other candidates, and the decisions of Nigerian voters during the election. No outcome is guaranteed, and every candidate must earn public support through the democratic process. Ultimately, whether some describe Peter Obi as not desperate is an opinion based on how they interpret his public conduct and political messaging. Others may see the same actions differently. The most important thing is for citizens to examine candidates' records, policies, proposal, and leadership qualities before making informed decisions at the ballot box. Nigeria's economy is strengthened when elections are peaceful, transparent, and credible, and when political debates focus on policies, ideas, and solutions rather than personal attacks. Thank you for watching. If you found this discussion helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends so they can join the conversation. Let's know your thoughts in the comments.